You know how like you'll gather people together, like, "Hey, we're going to go get food. What do you want?" And it takes like an hour to figure it out.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we are with the Suns right now. Like, what do you want? Do you want them to just run it back with this team? Do you want them to go all in, break the bank for Jimmy Butler? Do you want them to abandon this path that they're on and try to blow it up? Do you want them to just make a move where you get a different big man? I don't know. Like, there's so many options. Some of them might not even be feasible, but I think before you can even pick a path, you have to figure out what you actually want.
Yes.
All
to
of,
all of
all
it.
of the above.
All of the above, right? I mean, this is something, base earnings, I'm really struggling with. I really am. I am conflicted on so many different fronts right now, and it seems like the more I read in regard to what is going on with Jimmy Butler down there in Miami, the more my antenna goes up. And warning, 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 warning. And yet at the same time, as soon as I say that, I'm like, I want Jimmy Butler. I want Jimmy Butler here because I think Jimmy Butler, as you know, Basin Earnings, I think he's the silver bullet for the hairy beast that is the Phoenix Suns. Boom. One shot, one time, fix it all. I think he's the silver bullet. But as soon as I say that right now, I'm like, no, you know what the silver bullet is, Ron? You know what it should be right now is the big three coming together and saying, we're going to play differently. Let's do this. We've got all the talent we need. We've got all the talent any team needs. Let's go do it. Whatever it might be that we need to do, what we need to sacrifice in order to do this, let's go do it. Now, of course, they've had to have talked about this. They have. Right? They have had this conversation already.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
I would. I'm listening to you talk, and I'm like, oh, he makes a good argument. He makes a good argument for this. But we still don't have
I'm
an
so
answer.
conflicted. I'm so back and forth on this. I don't know which way is the best way to go.
I can boil my internal conflict down to, I think, a few sentences. On the one hand, I don't think things are as bad here as a lot of people do. Like, a lot of people look at this roster like, oh, nobody can ever win anything with that roster. You're ruined. I don't think it's that. Like, I'm intrigued at least to see how long this Bradley Beal coming off the bench thing could work. And I don't think I have, like you're saying, some concerns with just this thought of, well, you bring Jimmy Butler in, you're winning a title. Like, Jimmy Butler is very unhappy in a situation where he shouldn't be that unhappy right now.
Yes.
But the third part...
that's got me concerned right now in regard to Jimmy Butler.
Because
it's two different areas. It really is. It's business, and then it's the athletic side of things.
It's true, but this isn't Oklahoma City where you're like, we got this great roster, let's bring in Jimmy Butler and push it over the top. You're bringing Jimmy Butler or whoever in, hoping that they have such a great attitude that they can fix the attitude of this team, and he doesn't seem to have that at the moment. But the third thing that messes me all up again is they're not winning a championship as currently constructed. That would just be a stunner if they didn't make any moves and turn this around this season and won the whole thing. And that's the goal. So I don't know that you can just do nothing.
Right. And I agree with the nothing part of it. You can't just do nothing. But again, I was talking about this yesterday. I think the easiest fix for the Suns is the big three goes out and plays better and demands more of everyone else around them. They go out first and play better and demand more from everyone else around them. Continue to make tweaks to the rotation going forward. Get longer. Get whippier. Get more athletic. Get defensive. Hey, you know what? This is why I like Oso Iguodaro and why I like Ryan Dunn and what I'm seeing from these two guys.
Yeah.
This is exactly what they need a little bit more of. Maybe you go out and get a veteran to come in, a guy that is, maybe you get a Nick Richards. Maybe you get that guy.
I will say this, since you brought up Dunn and Iguodaro, make sure you just hold on to those guys, because that's something that you are the next iteration of the Suns, whatever, if that's next, if that's next month, if that's next year, if that's a few years down the line. It seems like you got a couple building blocks there. Not necessarily as like stars, but like building block type players. You know, hopefully along the lines of some of the guys fans are still upset they gave up a few years ago. Hopefully, at least in Ryan Dunn or Oso Iguodaro, you have guys that are going to be on this team for a long time. This is Draymond Green from late last week talking about the concept. Now, to be fair to Draymond, this is before the Suns won 3 straight. This is after they lost to Charlotte. So
Yeah.
this was 2 games in to this 5-game experiment so far. That's going to be 6 games and beyond, starting tonight with Beal coming off the bench. But this was Draymond Green's thoughts on it.
It may help in the interim, right? Like, it may help. If they want to win at the level that they want to win at, Bradley Beal is one of their best players. Tough to bring him off the bench. And he had 25 the first game coming off the bench, which was great. But, like, that game when he have 6, it ain't going to necessarily be as pleasant. You know what I'm saying? And so shout out to Brad of being a professional and going to the bench and coming off the bench for 25, and the first time he did it since 2016. But like I said, I think, yes, it could help in the interim, but to win at the level that I think that team is expected to win at, which is to be contenders, I don't think you can necessarily be a contender with Bradley Beal coming off the bench on that team.
Wow. I don't really get that. Because, again, I've always believed it's not where you start, it's where you finish.
I long haven't understood that argument. Now, Draymond Green has won so many championships that I honestly have lost count, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He obviously does. But I have just always thought that the holdup would be if Bradley Beal was like, no, I'm not going to the bench. You put me on the bench, I'm not going to play, or you're going to get minimal effort from me. We've seen other NBA players do that, certainly, over the years, so it's not crazy to think
how
that.
condemning would that be if you said that?
Well,
if you put me on the bench, you're going to get minimal effort.
Or if you just showed it.
That would be brutal.
That would be pretty brutal.
Yes.
Some guys don't say it, but they show it. He hasn't shown that. I read the numbers off the other day. He's basically averaging the exact same number of points and minutes off the bench as he was when he was starting this season. So I don't know. I don't think it's that to me would be the biggest issue to that. But obviously Draymond Green is saying it for some reason.
Yeah, what reason is that? Once again, I trust God, Becerrines. I don't trust man. That's what I'm saying right now. And there's got to be something. There's got to be a reason why. Bradley Beal, to me, in bringing Bradley Beal off the bench seems like such a small issue with everything else that has gone on.
I don't think it's holding them back.
Exactly.
If anything,
with everything else that is going on with the Phoenix Suns, that doesn't seem like, through 5 games right now, oh my goodness, the Suns can't win if they're bringing him off the bench.
And if there is a way out of this with the roster as currently constructed, this is the way out of it. So credit to Coach Bud to not be afraid to ask him or tell him to do it. And honestly, credit to Bradley Beal. Now, I might eat my words if in 2 weeks he's miserable, but so far, as Draymond Green just said right there, he's handling it like a pro. He's playing really well coming off the bench, Bradley Beal is. And the first game, he comes off the bench, he leads the Suns in scoring, they win the game, and all you hear is, this guy doesn't want to be there, and then putting him on the bench is, he's the reason they're losing, and they're going to drive him out of there. Like, that's got to be a rough 24 hours if you're Bradley Beal.
Do you think there's a possibility he's just saying that's not the problem? Do you think that Bradley Beal coming off the bench, that's not the problem? Suns have a bigger problem than that.
And that.
Do you think he's implying that? Is that possible?
It's Draymond Green. Absolutely, that's possible.
Certainly possible.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.